Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! We're going to FMLFPL Milan.
This Walsh.
How we doing?
We got our new pod sponsor, Kits on.
Look at these kits, dude. Shout out to Lazinko in Discord. Sent us the FMLFPL. Yeah, the custom kit.
10?
Fucking 10.
Still don't know what team this is, but the kit's very nice.
It's spelled as if you would say the Djurgardens, but it's probably like Djurgården or something like that. That's my guess.
I just think of the Desjardins, the hockey player.
Yes, that's basically what they are.
Desjardins
and it's IF, except it's F instead of FC. So IF must mean FC, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah, but thank you for the kits. They're beautiful, and we appreciate it.
They're so sick. Yeah, I fucking love them. Are you wildcarding?
I'm on wildcard, baby. From, what's my rank? 3.4 million to some different rank.
Time will tell.
After I wildcard. It could go down or it could go up. Sometimes we go up, sometimes we go down.
I gotta say, it would be such a fun turn in the season if you just started fucking flying. You just built an amazing wildcard team and just start going up. You're just fucking flying every week.
You know what? Flying is relative. I have been flying. I've just been going a certain direction that you don't normally equate with flight, but you do have to fly down sometimes.
That's true.
So I have been flying. So touche on you. Joke's on you.
Are you gonna bench boost next week, or are you just gonna go all out?
Well, I can't bench boost when I'm wildcarding. They don't let you do that.
Sorry, I mean in Gimmick 23. Maybe.
Oh, like with Ward, you're saying?
You know, yeah, you'll have a backup keeper. There's Arsenal and City are doubling.
I haven't thought that far ahead.
I mean, this week, there's a long-ass break. Like, the next deadline's not till February 3rd for Game Week 22. So there's going to be a million cup games in between, and there's going to be, like, blanks and doubles and all that shit announced. So it might be time for you.
Anything could happen. The biggest test of this time will be if I actually make a good team, or if I just make a perverted team.
I know, that's you know, everyone. I expect you to not tell me until Friday morning before the deadline, and then I just have to type in your team one by one into the fucking thing, and I'm just like, okay, this team looks really good, or I'm just like, oh my god,
Mudrick, Jao Felix, like, oh god, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, but let's take a look at our teams this week.
Speaking of the good kind of flight, we're doing the bad flight first.
Yeah, I like to just get yours sort of out of the way.
Flight of the Valkyries down to hell. Yeah, you know, here it is.
Did
the things.
Took a couple punts.
None of them
worked. For a wild card, neither worked.
Should have let a transfer burn on fire instead of doing the transfers I made. Was a huge hit. Classic Mies.
Yep.
Doc, formerly great pick, into absolute catastrophe pick. Doesn't play anymore.
Yep.
That's
just the way he's gone.
That's the way of the world.
I experienced it like 10 weeks ago. You know.
Yeah. It's funny because I've actually been getting auto sub dodging of points when I need the auto subs. Like Bueno's cleaning when he's on my bench when I don't get him, and then now he's diabolical when I do get him. That's been a good thing.
I mean, but to be fair, he played Man City, so...
No, I know. I mean, not saying I expect anything. It's just the way that the playing and not playing has not been in my favor.
Yeah.
But, you know, not capping Haaland was obviously not in my favor.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Joel Ward's brother, though.
I came very close to not capping Haaland with you, and that would have been very bad, but I did cap him.
Look at this beauty. Holy
the only
shit.
thing that I didn't do is didn't start as Stupinian over Shaw,
which would have been so stupid.
9.
Yeah, which would have been so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really regret it.
What do you mean you don't really regret it? Well, that would have been a fucking brain dead move.
I know, but people... I think people tend to look at points on the bench and not in the lineup as like, oh, I made the wrong call. That's how like most people would think of that, but
not our listeners. Don't hold them to those low standards, Alon.
You're right. When you're right,
not our listeners.
But I'm absolutely flying. I went up another 40K. I'm on 90 points. I'm 54K overall. I rolled my transfer. I capped Holland.
Dude, this is a top 10K year for you.
It's a very easy game. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got a long way to go.
It's beautiful.
No, it's a long way
You're
to
almost
Tipperary.
there. No, you're just you're in Tipperary land right now. You're getting there. It's one little tit at a time.
Yeah, I'm probably hitting. I think I know my moves already, but we'll get there
easy.
later. I mean, the thing is,
how easy is the game?
The thing is with these weeks upcoming is that it's just like you shouldn't make any moves. No one should make any transfers. I think Man United have 3 cup matches, for example.
What?
Before the next game. Yeah,
how is that possible?
They have a 2-legged semifinal and then whatever the other cup is.
The thing's 2 legs?
News to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God.
So like any transfer right now is just diabolical because there's going to be blanks, there's going to be doubles, there's going to be injuries, there's going to be suspensions. Like who the fuck knows? So I'm sitting on 2 frees. I think I know my moves, and I have to wait 10 days to punch in the actual moves. So it's just like kind of boring.
You just chill.
Yeah, I'm just chilling, flying.
No big deal.
NBD. Man, I hate how it goes back to the wide. Never mind. League updates. We got mug winners for January. David Tucker in first place, aka Miles Offit. Ross Miles, aka Soccer All Stars, and Alan Jafars, aka Darwinning FC. Good job by you. I'll send you an email. Check.
And then
check
we
your
should
emails.
do a cup announcement, right?
Yep. Cup Game Week 23, FMLFPL Cup. All Patreon subscribers will be in it. We'll have access to the form to sign up, and then we'll do all the fucking brackets and all that stuff in a spreadsheet like usual. So, you know, all we get are deletions as far as anus laps go this time of year. But when the cup comes back, they all come crawling back. So, you know,
yeah, or not, whatever. Either way.
Not. I got 12th in the mug league this month. Almost got a mug. Almost 12. Finally got a mug.
Yeah, I was close. 6-12. 6-12. Hey.
Yeah,
just 6.
6 of 12 and 12 of a dozen.
This has been a good season because I can kind of get a better gauge of how big our leagues are because I so frequently finish at the very bottom.
That's true.
Of them.
That's true.
So I've been playing along that. I've been playing my own game that way.
Yeah, you have many of your own mini games.
A lot.
Everyone's questions when they get later in the season of like, what do you do? My team's bad. I'm bored. And this is what you do. You create your own little mini games.
Create your own quests. We've been doing that for years.
Yeah, exactly. And then shout out to the leader of the public league, Ridian Eldridge, aka Team Name. His name is Team Name, which I
like
really
that
like.
A lot. Wow.
Really like.
Yeah.
39th overall, so good job by him.
Okay.
Oh, dude, where do we begin?
A lot of fun action activities this weekend, I feel like.
I feel like the most fun was Franklin being sacked.
Hey, let's talk about that.
About time.
What is there to say about the Franklining?
They are so bad, and I've just been saying how bad they are for a long time. And finally, I guess the results got bad enough, and they're so likely to get relegated that they just decided to make a change. And Bielsa is the number one rumor, which is... What do you think about if they hired Bielsa?
I mean, Bielsa is a very mercurial character. To actually project what his aims and goals and ambitions are in life is like a fool's errand. I think for Everton, it would be by a lot the best potential hire that they could make. It ensures they go down this year. That's unquestioned.
Okay. I was going to say
what it would do is it gives we know what kind of, Goodison's not even a cauldron. It's just like a specific ring of hell at this point.
Yeah.
And it would give them an attractive style of football that the fans will go watch and enjoy regardless of the result. Yep. And he's proven to be able to get teams out of the flamp, and he can make bad players look better than they are, and they have a lot of bad players. So I think from a standpoint of Everton, it's a perfect fit.
For the standpoint of this season, oh my God.
Well, I think it's extremely short-sighted for an Everton, from the Everton perspective of like, what can we do to just try and stay up this season? Right, I don't think that's reasonable. Yeah. And you can hire a manager who might play a more turgid style of football and still not stay up.
Yeah, right.
And you're lighting on fire all of these months versus, maybe if they did get Bielsa, they'd be able to hang on to a couple of players that they might otherwise not have been able to hang on to. He knows how to get up from the flamp. And, I could see them just bouncing right back up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What about you? What's your position
for me,
on this
from
one?
a just pure this season and FPL perspective, I saw a tweet earlier that was just like, this Everton team trying to play Bielsa ball would be like one of the most hilarious months of football we've ever been able to watch, because like you said, it would ensure relegation. It would be a disaster. Like, they would be captain your player against Everton every week type of territory. Great for FPL, great for entertainment, all that shit. But I agree. I think long term, how long have they been doing this? Just like, bad manager, do badly, sack them. Bad manager, they buy a couple players for that manager, stay up one season, sack them the next season, rinse and repeat. It's not really a way to move forward. So I agree with you in the sense of like, long-term, Bielsa's by far the best because he has a specific type of player. They can get that type of player. They have money, especially compared to like championship teams, and he will get the best out of their like rando wingers. He'll get the best out of Gordon and Gray and all these fucking guys, McNeil, whatever.
No one gets the best out of McNeil.
Except Dyche.
It's all of that. And I just don't know enough about the infrastructure of Everton in terms, we know based on who they buy and the lack of cohesion there, it just seems like they throw darts at a board.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's one of those where they need more infrastructural overhaul and Bielsa's just a dead man walking, right?
Yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But, if you're just imagining like they actually do the good thing, then, if they do get some type of alignment behind him and, can start kind of swimming in the same direction altogether, Bielsa seems like the ideal type of manager I would want if I were an Everton supporter to come in and hopefully give me, maybe a 3-year, you can see how this can improve over that time, trim some of the dead weight, get rid of some of the fat and, kind of start over there. So, I think that would be exciting. I hope that happens. Is it like likely or is it just like random rumors at this point?
I didn't follow closely. I asked some people in Discord and everyone was like, Bielsa's the rumor. They want Bielsa, blah, blah, blah. But, who knows what that even means. Bielsa might just be like, absolutely not, and that's the end of it. So Dyche is in the mix, I think, as well. With they have a bunch of Burnley players. It makes sense.
They basically are. Burnley 2.0.
But they're so and deep in the shit already. It's just like
Dyche would be the one to be like, we want to try and stay up at all costs. He's the one to get. Obviously, that's the case.
Yes.
It's just
they're a mess.
It's not fun. They're a mess for sure.
We should probably just jump right to Arsenal Man United because we got a lot of questions about both teams.
By the way,
Man
Everton's
United
next
doubling.
2 fixtures, Arsenal, Liverpool, at Liverpool. Are you kidding me? That's what you're walking into as a new friend?
So bad.
Okay. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's so bad. No, it's just so Man U, we could maybe start with them and in the context of the match, but they have a double home Palace, home Leeds, unless it's not a double based on whatever happens in the Cup. I don't know what happens in the Cup. And then Arsenal are the best team in the league. They have Everton, aforementioned Everton, and then they have a double of their own. So I think everyone's kind of like jumping on both of these teams. So it's like the best place to go, right? What were you going to say?
What about the big Dwonk? Where's he been? Do we need a Dwonkening reunion?
Oh my God.
They should get Duncan to be figurehead for 2 games, to do those 2 games.
Do the 2 nightmare games. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense.
Caretake.
Because I remember, like, obviously they were so bad under Big Dunk, but they did have that one Chelsea game where they won and they were like,
and then they lost the next
fiery.
like 5 or something.
Yeah, and they're a nightmare.
Oh
but like
God.
maybe he can do that for 2 games, just make it hell. He's just like injuring Arsenal players, injuring Liverpool players. Everyone's very happy, and then Bielsa comes in.
Oh my God. Yeah, so Arscast, what are you seeing from the Ars?
I mean, they're just
Is anything
so fucking
different
good.
than what we've been talking about in terms of their picks?
The only thing that's different was an interesting question from Ben here, who said, if you're not starting an Arsenal defender, which I don't know if it matters if you are or are not starting them, but whatever. He said, does it make sense to hit them out for an Arsenal attacker that you'd be starting weekly? And I think it's interesting because Martinelli is still super highly owned. 77% of elite teams still on Martinelli. And Ben White, among other guys, are still pretty highly owned as well. A lot of people are on that double up. And it seems pretty clear that the ideal triple up is Necktie, Odegaard, and Saka.
Yeah.
And so what do you do if you're those people?
Yeah, I think if you can get out, you get out. I mean, these types of questions always remind me so much of like years past with Coleman and Baines or something, right? Where it's,
what do you mean?
You know that Coleman's better, but you're holding on to Baines because you owned him already and he has pens, which is just a nonsense. When you're literally seeing every game for 90 minutes, this player is way better than this other player, right? And when we kind of get trapped, I think, into some type of like fallacy, some type of trap, I'm sure there's some term for it, where it's like you it's like the player,
sunk cost fallacy. That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah, like you like the player you have more than you should because you have them and you're convincing yourself.
Yeah,
when it's very clear that it's not objectively, if you had no players and you were going to just pick net, right? But it's hard for us to cash those chips in when it feels like it's a sideways move or it's the same team transfer move.
Yeah.
When it's not that, right? It's just strictly upgrading. You're making better, you're getting better players in for worse players. But I do think that Zinchenko is a little bit interesting because he looked like he was maybe coming back into things. And it wasn't too long ago, right at the beginning of the season, those first 3 games where he was like, oh shit, like he's getting into such good attacking positions. He was creating, he is, for all of his injury issues, and, he's a winger, Oh
yeah. Well, I think he's a midfielder,
he's a midfielder.
The position he plays for Ukraine, like a pressing 8.
He's like an
whatever.
8. Yeah. He's like but his delivery is so much better than, usual when he gets the ball out in those spaces. He's just actually accurate, which is,
he's so good.
There are no accurate players in the league, I feel like, when they get that kind of in those positions on the wings as the overlapping when they have space. So his delivery is really good. I feel like he's a pick, I feel like he's a really good pick also. So, I think it matters most, as we usually talk about, the texture of your team and where your weakest point is to upgrade and shit like that.
Yeah.
Neckties obviously playing great, been playing great, will continue to be great. Saka and Odegaard are both great, will continue to be great. But I still feel like White is fine. I think these are fine players, but I do think Martinelli is I've been saying this. I think he's a bad
You've been
pick.
saying it, and I've been kind of pushing back, but I'm getting more and more convinced that he's just not getting into the game that much. Like, he had the one chance against Man U, put it wide. He got subbed off on like 80 or whatever for Tross, who came on and did his role tremendously well, played a big part in the match-winning goal.
And I think honestly too is it's less an indictment on Martinelli of being a bad pick, is just the landscape of the FPL game this year. Like how much of a mockery the prices are and how few premium picks that are firing are. So we need less. Right. But even among, those 5 to 7 million priced there are so many options. There are just so many,
Incredible.
So what you have to do to earn your place. It's not even earn your price anymore. It's earn the place in our team because we have so few slots we can pick. It's almost like looking at it in a completely different way than we're used to, because Martinelli has been, is, and will continue to earn his price in air quotes as we know it. We're not playing that game this year, though.
Yeah,
so,
no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and I totally agree. In a normal season, he's a season-long hold. Actual season-long hold. You just never touch the spot. He's so cheap, good, on the best team. You don't even think about it. But yeah, no, in this season, I mean, I'm looking at a triple move, and I'm still going to have like $2.5 million in the bank. Just sitting there, and I'm going to have like an incredible 11. So it's just money is just such a non-issue. I agree with you there. And we, I don't have like numbers to back this up, but you can kind of see in the eye test, I think, a little bit. But we talked about the Jesus injury when we were coming back from the World Cup, like the Game Week 17 pod or whatever, and how like Martinelli might be the most affected out of everyone because Jesus was like half striker, half left winger. Like he was constantly drifting into the left. And they played a lot through the left. And I just think that Necktie is a much different player. He's playing great, but he's much different. He's in the box all the time. I think it's harder for Martinelli to like get those chances that he was scoring earlier in the year with Jesus, where he's just like in the box cutting in on his right because Jesus is pulling someone left.
Yeah, well, it's also, there's literally never times in the game where Martinelli looks over to the central striker spot and there's no human there. But when Jesus plays, that happened all the time.
Right.
So he could drift in there and just do that for like a few little moments or different times during the game. And now, he's shunted out wide as we've been discussing. And that's kind of what it looks like. But and it's also, I don't know if it is just the development of the Premier League or something, but I was thinking, someone was talking about like trips, like your best shout ever, and you mentioned the Mahrez year, and like that Mahrez year, right? He started at 5.5.
Yeah.
There wasn't a pick under 7 million in midfield the whole year that was like good, I feel like. Right?
Yeah, I mean
he's, I know he laid waste to his price, but just thinking back to that year.
Seasons, like, I don't remember the specific year, but in traditional FPL seasons, 7 million players are punts.
Right.
They're not
They're
like
mostly
good.
8.5,
yeah,
and
like,
we have to find those picks. And now there's all these players that are under 7 million. It's crazy.
It used to be if you start your game week one team with like 2 7 million players, like you have a risky team because those guys might suck. Yeah. And now it's just, there's so many nailed, really good picks.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's just interesting from like the game standpoint, just thinking about how it's progressed in terms of there's more cheap players, so that inherently means there are more options for us to choose from, right? So it's less templated, if you will, from the pool of players that you can choose from.
Yeah.
But then they counterbalance that by spoon feeding and jamming who you're supposed to transfer in every week to everyone who plays the game. So it's like, where are we even going with it?
Right.
Like, what is the game looking like moving forward? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting, weird season where also Liverpool are bad, Chelsea are bad, Spurs are okay, but have only one pick. They only have one pick all season.
Maybe the defender pricing is the issue. Honestly.
And then there's also these other really good teams who are having, really good seasons and have tons of picks, and all their guys are too cheap. And Arsenal were predicted to be 5th, and all their guys are cheap, and they're the best team in the league. It's just like all of these things happening at once. But
I don't know if I can't tell if it's good or bad. I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm having both, fun, as most
but
things.
It's because I'm doing well.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying from the game.
Yeah,
I think it's standpoint.
Good. I mean, I don't think there's a problem with having the game be like this, where it's quality over value for the first time. Sort of like it's points over value. Like, I don't care if Martinelli's 2 million cheaper than Saka, because I don't need the 2 million more. Yeah. I need the points.
I think it is definitely breaking that kind of, you should spend all your money. The best team is the most expensive team. Right? I mean, you could sell easily that Mitoma is top 4 midfielder in the game. He's 5 million right now.
No, I mean, like, there was that question last week, but like, you could make a 5-man midfield with your most expensive one being Bruno, and it's elite. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's never really happened.
Yeah.
And because also we haven't even mentioned, like, obviously the permacap. That also changes things.
Permacap and the Newcastle defenders are a cheat code.
Yeah, so you don't need someone else to captain ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But a couple other questions.
Newcastle has 6 cleans in a row.
It's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy.
It's insane.
Mr. Alf said, is Darwin to necktie an obvious hit? Everyone should be triple R's by now, right?
Oh, wait, but we didn't talk about Man United. Did you bring them into
next.
that? Okay.
We'll do them next, yeah. I mean, yeah, Darwin and necktie, great move. And then X50 said, for those of us with Mitro, is a swap for necktie the no-brainer move, or should we still be looking at getting Odegaard or Saka for an underperforming mid? How do we even answer that? All of those moves are good.
Well, what do you feel? How do you feel about Mitro?
He's probably out of my team. I mean, there's just not a spot for him anymore.
Yeah,
there's too many good picks.
Yeah, it just looks like it's getting tougher for them.
Yeah, and Fulham suck. I mean, like, I know they're in 6th place or whatever. Like, they're very bad team.
Yeah, I mean, having an attacking spot, yeah.
Yeah, I can't have an attacking spot on that. He hurt his ankle, the same ankle again today. So he's already flagged again. And he's probably off pens. So it's just like, he went from being like an auto, you start him every week, he'll ship points, he'll get pens, they get more pens than anyone somehow, to being like, I don't know, not necessary at all. There's a lot of better forwards. So
he's had a very, very, very bizarre season.
It's so weird.
He's missed so many games, like battling injury. It seems like every week he's, this foot, ankle, whatever the fuck is an issue. His points per like start in the game though are fucking amazing. But yeah.
I mean, it's hard to play the way he plays and not get hurt. I think. I mean, like I think about someone like DCL, and I'm like, you just can't play that way. Like, you can't just like be the most physical. Yeah, you're not a battering ram. I know that's like the more old school, and DCL obviously was great for a season and a half or whatever, but now he just can't ever stay fit. And Mitro feels like the same. There's not a game where he doesn't put in like several dangerous challenges, and the defenders make dangerous challenges against him, and it's paying the price right now. So but yeah, Man U double, massive double. If it's a double, don't even know. Cup might change everything, so we'll see about that.
It is likely based on the matchups, just in fairness, just to state.
Is it? I don't really know.
I think they're pretty lopsided fixtures that need to result in like non-draws, I think.
So it's basically if they have NFO in the EFL Cup, and they have Reading in the FA Cup. So yeah, you'd imagine they get through them. But yeah, so then
I don't really know this. Does it matter both their cups? I thought it was one cup.
I have no idea.
I don't even know.
Just listening to their fixtures, but it seems likely. But
no, because it was them and another team had to not draw, I think. It wasn't just their result.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know which cup it is now. I fucking forgot. There's so many.
Yeah, there's more than one
nonsense.
Cup, bro. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I do wish that big teams weren't in these cups just for fun.
I know.
Like, it'd be cool if Man City or Liverpool didn't win the cup one of these years.
Yeah, the top 4 or top 6 should just not play in these competitions.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I think if you qualify for Europe, you shouldn't be in the cup. And then it's awesome. These other teams have a chance to win.
To win something. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they never win.
Yeah, I agree completely. When we're president of the world, that'll be our first diktat.
Good.
You know, we have so many diktats.
So Man U, they have home Palace, home Leeds, followed by Leeds. So yeah, getting their players is really good. I mean, Balfsky said, I own Rash and Shaw. Who's the best third Man United? Is Mitro to Weghorst overthinking the doubles, or should I rather take a -4 and get Bruno in? Biggest David and Zarina both worried about how many matches they have. They have basically 10 games over the next month, one every 3 to 4 days. Should we be worried about, rotation and that kind of stuff? And then 2 kind of related questions. Bill said, is Kev to Bruno and then back to Kev for the doubles the easiest move ever, or should we consider a different city mid? And Dano said, everyone with Kev's planning to go to Bruno for game week 22, but what are your thoughts on avoiding Bruno, going for another United defender instead, like Martinez or Varane? Going back and forth with Bruno and Kev doesn't appeal to me, and Man U are decent at defense with Casemiro back. So what assets are you liking from Man U? What are you seeing here?
Well, I think that is an important consideration. The question about, a game every few days. I mean, they do have a fucking shit-ass ton of games coming up.
Incredible amount of games, yeah.
So ideally, what we'd see from the Ten Hags is that these cup games are 9 changes.
Yeah.
If he has a fucking head on his shoulders, which it seems like he does, that's what he should actually do.
Yep.
Use the enormous
squad he has. Don't worry about a fucking trophy.
Play
Just
the
get
children.
top 4.
Consolidate top 4.
Nothing else matters.
So, I'm just saying this to caveat that, I'm going to proceed here expecting him to make the correct managerial decision, which we know doesn't always happen, right? But, Rashford's obviously a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Biggest no-brainer in the world. He looks like he's a transformed player. Him and Odegaard are the 2 players this year that have elevated themselves into new status.
Yep.
Bruno, I think you can do without. I don't think he's you're fucked if you don't have him.
I agree.
He's obviously a good pick because the fixtures are as such.
Yeah.
He's kind of lucking into points. He doesn't have pens. We think that they're rashes.
Yeah, who knows?
And, he's getting some really lucky, he's just been getting lucky points. Honestly, to me, watching these games, he's returned every game in the last 5, but he's just doing a lot more peripheral shit to me than he's doing the things like he used to when we used to see him as getting a return every game, and it was obviously Bruno gets shits points.
Yeah.
Weghorst, I don't think it's a pick at all.
He's 1.3 XG or something like that, and has 2 goals. And, he does create a ton, but, maybe not 3 assists worth. But also the assists are side pass, keepers out of the net, tap-ins at the end of the game or something like that. But, I think I agree. I don't think he's a fucking you're so fucked if you don't have Bruno. What are you doing if you don't have Bruno type of situation? But I do think he's a really good pick for this week and next week.
That said is, right, he has a double. Kevin's playing Spurs, which is always a tough game for City.
Yep. He has Leeds after.
Yeah, you're not going to be really losing much doing that. If that's the biggest problem in your team, or that's the kind of thing you're targeting, with the double and shit, and you could even do Kev to Bruno to Saka, and then get Kev back or something. You can even go there and get the double. You just keep whatever the fuck. But I think
Kev De Bruyne is great. There's no downside there. Kev, I'm pretty, and maybe we'll move there after we talk about Man U, but I'm pretty not that into Kev. It's funny because we were just talking about how value doesn't matter, but it matters in the sense if you can get 2 Arsenal players for your 4-5 mid and Kev. I'd much rather have the 2 Arsenal players. Kev is just, again, another match, he doesn't even have a shot against Wolves. Yeah, he gets the assist, he gets the 6-pointer.
Let's come back to Kevin.
Let's
give Man United the attention they deserve.
Yeah. So Bruno, great pick.
Are you? Weghorst to me looks like not even close to a pick. Are you
not
with
even
me
close
on that?
To a pick?
All right.
And to be clear, I think he's playing really well.
Yeah, playing fine, doing the things he can do.
Yeah, he's
licking
not
his
a
lips,
fucking pick.
Holding the ball up. Good job.
No way is he a pick. Anthony also.
No.
Disaster. This guy is just bad at football, I think.
Oh, God, dear. I don't know if I'm ready to say that.
Dude, he's so bad. He's their worst player every game.
He might have... Okay. I haven't watched enough of him yet to talk about him, honestly.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say about Anthony.
Okay,
I don't want to go too nuts.
He's young. He might be good. He obviously has some talent. But right now, I wish they were starting Garnacho right wing, or I wish Sancho was fit, or
I just think he's in a tough. I think he's just in a tough spot.
Okay.
Honestly, Just what he's being asked to do, where he came from, what his age is, when he got it's just he has a lot of very bad circumstances when realistically he shouldn't be starting, you know?
Yeah, but
the price tag, I mean, where'd that come from? I don't know.
Yeah.
In what fucking universe would you look at this player and say this is a $100 million player?
I mean, every stats person in the world was like, this is a fucking joke of a transfer. Like, he's not even
laundering.
It's not even that good in Netherlands.
Yeah, this is going to the Ten Hag fund in Ajax or something. I don't know. Maybe
it was part of the deal. Maybe it's part of the deal.
We don't know.
They're like, yeah, Ten Hag can go to Man United. You just have to pay $100 million
for this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, easy. But
what about the defense? I mean, I think De Gea is kind of interesting.
Yeah, he gets saves.
Yeah,
he's affordable. He's good. Yeah, I mean, he's in the games they clean. This is a stupid sentence, but in the games they clean, I'm like, yeah, he's good and a good pick. And then like, you know, he lets up some, 25-yard goal that he definitely should have saved. And I'm just like, God, he's so fucking bad. But, when they have a good run of fixtures with it, which they do have, although maybe not for cleans, honestly, like playing Leeds twice
Leicester,
is
Brentham.
Not good for cleans.
I just feel like the games, they have a lot of home games.
Yeah.
And then they have Southampton.
Games.
I mean, it just feels like those are games that I could see he could spike some 10-pointers in there perhaps.
Yeah.
Because these are teams that are bad that attack sort of.
Yeah, he could get a 6-save Max Bones clean. Something like that in one of those. Yeah, for sure. I think he's totally a fine pick.
And I guess, and I mean, it's also, I mean, I'm looking at this from the context of, we don't really have many defense spots to just burn. I mean, when we all have Dan Burn, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to not have the Newcastle defenders. So how many defenders? I'm not seeing more than 3 defender teams really anymore.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, Shaw's fine when there's a double, but in terms of transferring him in, I still feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
And to answer Dana's question, like, I definitely don't want 2 Man United defender spots when when every team by now, I think has like at least 2 Newcastle defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Shaw's going to get forward in these home games against these mid-table teams, and he's definitely a shout for a goal or an assist. So, I like that. But yeah, I mean, De Gea's fine. De Gea's totally fine. He's definitely like the type of guy you would consider on your wild card, I think, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Is Eriksen an option?
It's
the same answer. Set pieces?
Yeah, it's the same answer we gave on their last double, which was like, yeah, he might get an assist. I don't know. Fine.
Okay. All right, so let's go over to Kevin. We started getting a little Kevin in.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I have Rashford and Bruno since game week 17. Holy shit.
My God.
I mean, that's the main reason for my flight.
And Shaw. And Shaw. Shaw had that 15-pointer. Are you fucking kidding me? He hasn't lately, but the first 3 game weeks after the break, he had.
Yeah, Bruno's got me 3, 6, 6, 9, 10, 5, and now he has Palace Leeds home double.
Yeah, he's only blanked once since the restart.
Fucking insane. Absolutely fucking insane. Kev, talk to me.
Well, you talked to me. You were going off.
Well, I was kind of doubling back on what we were saying about value, and that value doesn't matter as much as season, yada, yada, yada. Like the fact that he's 12 million if he's getting points, but it is still just a new Kev that we're not used to, where he just doesn't shoot. Again, didn't shoot the entire match against Wolves. Home, 3-0 win. Gets an assist on a cross. Great. But 6-pointer, he no longer is getting 6 points for an assist. He didn't get a single bone, right?
He was just edged out.
There's just too many other good mid picks for me to be comfortable starting him every week, I feel like. And, obviously you want him for the double in 23 because he's the most likely to play both games out of all City attackers not named Haaland, so I understand it. But, I'd rather have Saka, Odegaard. I'd rather have Rashford. I'd rather have Bruno. Like you were saying, like Matoma might be a top 4 mid. Like it's not even that crazy to be like, yeah, Matoma might be better than Kev in the game. It's close at least. The fact that it's even a conversation is sort of like says what I'm trying to say, which is that like I just don't think it's really that worth it, and I don't know if he's a part of the best fantasy team.
Yeah. I mean, the shooting and lack thereof is a big issue. He could have had 3 assists this game, right? Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of very close offsides. He's still their creative hub, and he still creates a lot of chances. He's almost turning into a little bit more like Bruno than Kev. He is misplacing passes for fucking fun. And his bonus, the bonus points is something that historically has buoyed him above really his station of what his returns were. Exactly. And, that's drying up very much. I mean, he has 15 returns and he has 13 bonus points. For him to have less bonus points than total returns is absurd. And
last year he had 23 returns, 33 bonus points.
Yeah, I mean we have seen that before, dating back some years, but that was just because he had too many returns. The games couldn't keep up.
When he had 13 and 23. Yeah, what the fuck?
Whatever happened that year happened. But I agree, I do agree with you. He's we have to also remember, last year he was doing a lot of false nining. There was a lot of there was a lot of strikery stuff to be had, even though he overperformed his XG last year by a lot and, hot finishing, blah, blah, blah. But this year he's just happy to recycle and, sometimes overlap, and sometimes he springs the counterattack, but he's not ever tip of the spear. He's getting his shots sporadically when he's joining in attacking play, when there's a sustained pressure kind of thing happening, and he gets a cutback, or he shoots from outside the box, or he does make that one mazy dribble run and shoot.
Right.
He's probably good for, maybe he should have maybe 2 more goals or something. Yeah. But ultimately, the price is ridiculous. We're never captaining him. He's still one of the most expensive players in the game, and he's just trickling in returns barely.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you. I think, we're kind of seeing even a different Kevin since the restart, where he's just even more reserved and subdued than it's
a weird thing, because he's obviously not a bad pick, right? Like he's getting regular returns.
Yeah, I feel like he's been playing badly, though. Yeah, also, I feel like he's
looked up while you were talking, he had 68% of his passes completed against
for
Wolves.
Him. Wolves. That's he's doing. I don't know. Something's in the water with Kevin. He's like turning into a beta or something. I don't know what he's doing. But it seems genuinely like since the restart that to me, just watching, is just like he doesn't like give a shit or something. Like there's something more that I don't know.
Said that the teams like lost their hunger to win and blah, blah, blah. And the intangibles of that kind of stuff that are, immeasurable. It's not like he's not trying, but he's not. He's not fucking taking the game by the scruff of the neck, to use an English idiom,
which he used to do all the time.
That's that's his MO, I feel like. Is
to get pissed and fucking go insane and yell at everyone and go win.
Yeah, and just like a driving run where he's just beats 3 guys and does it on his own. But, I don't know. It's a hard one with Kev, because like I said, you want him for the double. He's ticking points. If you get your move wrong, and the guy you get in for your Kev double move isn't returning, you're going to lose a lot of points, because he's going to still get 5 and 6 pointers all the time.
Right.
But I do think there's room to get more points from the spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What other games were good?
Not your game.
Oh my God.
We haven't talked about your dumb team for a while, actually. Should we do that?
Why would we? We're a fantasy Premier League podcast, and there's literally no picks.
All right, we'll skip that then, I guess. Skip that section.
Chelsea too. It's like, I don't know.
Honestly, that about does it. There wasn't a ton of, really exciting games this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think there was, honestly. But let's just jump to some. Oh, we did get this one question on captaincy, which is too far out to know, but X50 said, do you guys like Rash or Bruno cap more? Is Shaw or De Gea cap crazy? I mean, is it obviously cap a Man United player this week? It is, right? I mean, everyone's going to be on Rashford, I assume.
I don't think it's too close. I think if Bamford were completely fit and we thought he would definitely start both, maybe, but I don't think you can really go Leeds over Man United even on a punt.
No.
I mean, the two homes are just something else, and they have, extra day off. I think Rashford's going to be by a lot the highest captain.
I think
player,
he'll be Holland levels of EO this week for cap.
Yeah, which he should be.
Yeah. He's definitely the best cap. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the best cap. Bruno at a differential if you want to just punt or fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Shaw, fine. De Gea, fine. Yeah, I mean, do whatever you want.
I just don't like Shaw and De Gea because I, again, just don't like Leeds for a clean sheet shout.
Yeah.
Just straight up. And if you're if you're thinking that they should keep a clean home Palace and they probably won't keep it clean versus Leeds, that's not good enough for me to cap a defender. Yeah, I want two games where I'm I feel really good about both games for a clean shout.
Yeah, I think De Gea is fine to captain. If you don't want to captain Rashford, I think De Gea is fine. I would not probably go Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even mentioned Leeds. We did get 2 questions on Leeds. Mishka said, would you pick a Leeds doubler like Nanto or an Arsenal asset playing Everton? And then Jitterbug said, what Leeds picks, if any, do we like for the double?
I think it's a little trappy, the Leeds double, honestly.
Yeah. What is it? It's at NFO, at Man U?
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's just, they're not playing well.
Yeah.
They're just not. I mean, they haven't been playing well for a while. So I just don't really see picks on their team,
Yeah, the one guy you would want is Rodrigo, and now Bamford's fit, and you're like, well, if Bamford starts up top, that's a really bad pick. So
yeah. He's historically never been a pick when Bamford's played.
Yeah, and I like Nanto a lot, but we've mentioned how he's just not really a fantasy pick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, out of position and stuff, so...
The defender they got, Vober, and he took a direct free, which was interesting. We just don't really have defenders that do that in the game.
Yeah.
So I just to mention that.
Flag that.
Yeah, just flag that for future use. He's he came over from Salzburg and he's Champions League experience and shit. He's good. He could maybe do some shit for their defense, kind of shore some things up.
Yeah, I mean they need it. Pretty much anyone is going to help them. So
yeah, I mean it's still just baffling to me how bad their defense is when they have such a good midfield. But
I know, yeah, they fixed the midfield. They bought really well,
and yeah. So I mean, maybe he's interesting. I don't know if you're trying to fill out the end of your bench and you want to just throw someone in who has 2 games or whatever.
Right.
Or I mean, Mesley is 4 or 5. I don't know. He's gone through periods where he's a really good pick.
He out of everyone, he's a sneaky pick right now because he gets so many saves, and so he's the type of guy on a double, like we saw with Leno on the Fulham double,
recent double.
Yeah, he could just get 1,000,000 points randomly because they randomly will keep some cleans, and they always concede a ton of shots.
Yeah.
So he's the type of guy that could just get a ton of points out of nowhere. And their fixtures, I mean, they have the double this week. They have home Man U in 23, which is bad, but then they're at Everton, home Southampton. So that's a sneaky one, maybe for your wild card or something.
Yeah, perhaps.
Go there.
Sure.
But no, for Mishka's question, yeah, I would much rather have an Arsenal asset playing Everton than a Leeds guy.
Yeah, I agree there.
No, not worried about a manager bounce with that team. Bryce said, do you think City can go on a big run of results like in previous seasons? And perhaps more importantly, does it matter if everyone had Haaland and the rest of the team's overpriced relative to the rest of the top 4?
Well, I mean, I did actually want to circle back to City with you and talk a little bit more about their defense.
Yeah.
Do you think that we might be hitting a purple patch for their defense? I mean, because they're still, I feel playing that very conservative style that we've been talking about that they usually do. They just haven't been cleaning as much as they typically have done.
And they're not cleaning as much as the numbers say they probably should be cleaning in terms of their XG against, their shots against.
Right.
The one thing that I was thinking about kind of when I was listening to Anfield Rap today, so it had nothing to do with City, but I was just thinking about how like prime Liverpool, whenever Firmino was missing, it was a major problem defensively, not just in attack, not just link and stuff, because not only was he a good presser, he led the press from the middle, and he supported a midfield, right, to like facilitate Mane and Mo being able to get in. And like, obviously Haaland's great, and I'm not trying to say he's not great. He's the best young striker in the world, but he doesn't press at all. And he's like not supposed to.
He pretends to.
Yeah, he like jogs at the keeper when he's about to like launch one, but he doesn't like press. Like because I was watching highlights, I didn't watch the City Wolves game live, but like Wolves still got in there. Like they had some decent chances, and they're bad. They can't attack.
No. I watched that game. That's not accurate. They did at the last 20 minutes when they threw the kitchen sink. Yeah. But in the first half, they had like one or two.
Yeah. Okay.
It was very typical to a City game. They could have scored because they weren't non-chances, but it was one or two. It was very
they still got like 0.8 XG, which is not that bad.
But that was all late.
No, I know. But the point being with Haaland is that I think that like defensively, they're from old City teams, they're almost down a man defensively because the amount of press means like the center backs have less time on the ball. They can't pass out. It's harder to build. It's harder to get a counterattack going. And Haaland just doesn't do any of that stuff. And he's great. And it's worth it because he's going to score 50 goals this year. But like maybe that's leading to some of the underperformance, I think, because teams just have a little bit of an easier time. Right? Center backs just have a little bit of an easier time.
Yeah, I think that definitely should play a part. I mean, to me, it just means that like stylistically, they have so much more meaningless possession than I think I'm used to watching them play.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's, I feel like, what they're doing to mitigate the lack of that man in the middle field of the field or whatever.
Yeah.
Where like you're talking about that they're down a man in effect, where the ball is mostly being played, which is in their own third or in the middle third. Yeah. So I don't think that should really affect the clean sheets though, because they still have like similar line, that kind of shit, right?
Yeah, I think it just affects the one or two times that a team successfully does get out.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't have 100% possession as much as Pep would like 100% possession. It just doesn't ever work. It will never happen. So, there's just a couple times where it's like, the center back was able to move up and find a wing back, and the wing back was able to beat one man and find a winger, and it's a 3-on-2 all of a sudden. And it's like, but no, I mean, long story short, I still think they're a good defense. I have Ederson. I'm not panicking at all. I still expect them to clean pretty much every match. It just, they're a little bit, I don't know, lacking the hunger, as Pep would say, maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, that said, Stones, Laporte looked great. I mean, they missed him.
Yeah.
Watching him play compared to, watching them in recent months of him not playing. Yeah. I mean, he's barely been able to play this season. That was his fourth start. But, I mean, Laporte and Stones, that fixes a lot, too. Yep. I mean, it gives them two instead of one, pacey guys that can recover, sort of.
And elite passing. Which is like what they usually have. Like Akanji's good, but he's not like Laporte passing.
No. Or Stones, honestly.
Yeah, or Stones. Yeah. So, I mean, I like Stones as a pick. I like Laporte as a pick. And they have their double upcoming. I mean, Kevin is probably going to be transferred out by me this week. As part of my maybe triple move once, I wait for all the cups and stuff. And then I'm going to be facing an issue in 23 where they're home Villa and Arsenal, and they have a double, followed by NFO, followed by Bournemouth, followed by Newcastle, followed by a bunch of cleanable games. It's definitely on my mind. Is that that's maybe where I get rid of Shaw and go like Stones or Laporte instead.
Yeah.
And I'm doubled on their defense with Haaland. Seems good to me.
I think that's where you should be angling. I think that's the place to get points moving forward. Yeah.
I think so.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
And then the only other question was 123D. He said, will Kepa keep it up? I think he's on like 6 points per game and I'm on wildcard.
Dude, fucking guy. I don't know, man.
What the hell? I don't know.
I mean, he's from the top rope. 19 these last two. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I think he is a really good pick, if that's kind of the question. I mean, price aside, I mean, he's picking up more bonus points than anyone else on their team. Hits the pass completion, as we know Potter keepers do, right? Like, that's part of what they do.
That's what Bob Monster was doing for his
and that's why Kepa plays over Mendy, mostly, I think, is the distribution, So,
and their defense is fucking shit, and they let up a lot of shots, so he's saving.
Yeah, and so there's, like, the defense is only going to get better. There's keeping some cleans. He's getting saves. He's getting bones. Like, he's a fantastic pick. The difference of him, like, if I went him over Ederson, I'd be fucking top 10K right now instead of top 50K.
Soon. That's too
It's
soon.
like so many more points. It's like not even remotely close.
Yeah. We dropped the ball a little bit on him, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't really
I just felt
attention.
like Ederson was just so safe and secure, and they have doubles, and they're in a clean, and they're the best team, and that's what was all my thinking in Game Week 17. And then, like, LOL at me, they let up 2 versus Spurs, 2 versus United, fucking Everton scores, Leeds scores. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, I mean, that's a given, but, it's also a million more. I think it's, where he was at 4-5 or 4-6 or whatever, just looking at, okay, it's still Chelsea. They still have really good players all over the show, even if they are playing these weird-ass... But at the same time, right? They are playing weird-ass fucking lineups. Like, they caught Liverpool in a good moment to play them. Yeah. I mean, a 10-pointer at home to Palace is like, what is that? To get
how does he get
saves and max bones is insane. Like, that shouldn't really happen, but it happened. And that big Bournemouth haul, he got more bones. But, he has 10 bonus points this year already. He's only started. He probably hasn't even started 10 games. So that's a huge thing for him. That's just telling us that defenders aren't hitting the pass completion numbers. He subs defenders all the time anyway, so who knows what's going on there. And they don't have anyone else who's really doing good bonus pointing things at midfield or forward. So
Raya has the most bonus points in the league for keeper at 12. He's 2 off, and it started half the games.
Yeah. So good pick. All of a sudden, we're rattling off these goalkeepers right now.
Yeah, well, it's good because you're on wildcard, so you have to figure out your keepers.
I already figured it out. It's Ward Iverson.
Oh, come on. Look at that smile. You're still deciding, am I going to do well or am I going to not do well? Go win the cup, dude. Go win the cup.
I'm going to win it with Ward. If I sell Ward, do you know what he's going to do to me? He's going to hurt me so bad.
That's why you're going to bench boost.
Oh, my God.
Beat the system. Make the game think you sold Ward, and then
is the cup 1 week though? That's 1 week. We don't want to talk about this right now.
All right. Well, that's it for questions. I mean, it's kind of a short episode because the next game week is so fucking far away, and there's so many matches in between. But yeah, just look out for blanks and doubles, and follow those type of people who retweet that kind of stuff. And
so we'll do our next pod next Thursday. It'll be next Wednesday.
Oh yeah, next Wednesday because it's a Friday deadline.
Yeah. So we'll do next Wednesday a My Life
Friday
pod.
My Life Patreon episode.
So keep deleting, baby.
Yeah, keep deleting. No anus slaps, no surprise there. I think that's about it, brother.
Are we a sinking ship?
Sinking until we're floating again.
Oh, God. All right. We'll get there.
Any last words?
I need to trade this for some money, I think.
Oh, yeah. There's got to be. We need them to win the league, so it'll be high value.
Yeah.
Pre-warned by Walsh of FMLFPL.
Just don't show them the back.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's number 10 kid.
10?
Your famous number 10, whoever that is.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter and FMLFPL Sports, Patreon.com/FMLFPL. Subscribe, rate, review, do.